So once again, I slept at the shelter, so they're ventilating me quite a bit, so I'm getting wrinkles that I shouldn't have. And so anyways, I digress. So I'm going to show you basically a minnow hack when you're fishing. A minnow, you know what it is, it's just a small fish for kids. But anyways, so see this right here. So now assume this is... It might even work with this cup, but the cup is, I do have a bottle. 1 second. So ideally, always have a plastic bottle when you go hiking because you might need water source at some point. And then maybe, ideally, you have the ability to make a splint and a fire starter, a match striker, like a flint striker. And a small emergency like band-aids, gauze, some sort of ointment for burns, and a pocket knife. But when you're using a pocket knife, you're likely to get cut, so always cut away from yourself. Make your margin of error. See where my thumbnail is right here. If I'm cutting, like, say this way, right, I'm gonna position the knife in a way so I'm missing away from my finger 100% of the time. It'd be right at my nail, to the nail. So I'm gonna always try to cut away from my body rather than towards my body. When you have a knife, always cut away from your body rather than towards your body. So that being said, this is a minnow hack video, and so basically what you would do. So I'm gonna demonstrate with this since I don't have a knife, but you would cut off, say to this line all the way around. You would cut it all the way off, and then you position it inside the bottle. You position it inside the bottle like this, so inverted in, right? So you can't see the top. So it's no longer the small end at the top. The small end's pointed. The small end's inside the cup, so inside the bottle. So what happens is, in that scenario, the fish, I'm just trying to balance the camera here with my knees. Should be all right until I'm hacked to a certain point. So basically, this now is faced in here, right? So really, technically, it's like this inside the bottle. So the bottle, the plastic part's here. So now the fish swim in here this way. You don't have the lid on at this point. You don't have the lid on. So the fish swim in, but now the fish are now trapped in this part of the bottle from here over. So now the fish swim in, and they can't, with their eyes, they can't orientate and swim out. So I learned that hack on TV. It might have been Bear Grylls. He's the most famous guy that influenced my survival hack. So, without any sexual cultivation, I support him, or any other criminal activities. But what he taught me on any survival shows did influence me. But that being said, so did Life After People shows, and just my natural innovation. Right, I cut myself with knives, so I know to cut away from myself rather than towards myself. Learn through success. Will always learn through somebody else's misfortune, if you can, rather than having to have the same misfortune to learn from, right? So the first example, the best example is the stove, right? Like every parent teaches their kid that the stove is hot, right? But until the kid feels a little bit of the heat, they don't understand, they can't associate hot with pain. They don't know what that was until they feel it, right? So once they burn themselves, or they feel the heat, it's gonna be hot for their little hands, right? So they don't even have to burn themselves, right? They just need to feel that it's hot, and then they might come running to you crying, and you're like, yeah, that's hot, I told you, I warned you that, right? So they have to learn, unfortunately, they have to learn hot in pain. Every single human has to learn hot in pain once, at least. Then we learn that until we get complacent. Then you use the stove 10,000 times without burning yourself. Then one time you're a little bit too risky. Then you burn your finger, right? Then that just reality of life. So always try to learn through other people's misfortune. So that being said, if you watch or hear stories of how people have made mistakes, when people are talking to you just in life, when you hear bad things that happen to them, try not to make the same bad mistakes. So if your parents are alcoholics, don't flirt with alcohol. Try a different substance if you want to try a substance that's legal. Like in Canada, cannabis is legal. Once I'm king of the world, I'm going to try to make all drugs safe, and then they can be legal. And then a safe place for you, right? Like if, for instance, like I'm going to make alcohol so you can't get a hangover. And I'm going to charge the alcohol industry 10% of their profit margin to drive up this technology. I'm not going to make the customers pay for it, because it's a result of the industry, right? So I'm going to make the industry pay to make things safe. I'm the smartest guy ever. So that being said, anyways, do the Minnow Hack, and I did try it out. I learned it, and I did try it out, and it worked. Like within an hour, I didn't fish or anything like that. I just wanted to see if it was just to see if the Minnow Hack worked, and it worked, and I got at least enough minnows to fish, like at least over 6. Could have been 20, I forget exactly how many, but I had a lot. There was enough in there where I would have been able to fish easily for the day. So that being said, if you're hiking, I'm going to build in the future a small hiking fishing rod that could fit in a backpack, basically. So when you go hiking, in the event that you need to fish in a survival scenario, at least you could fish, but you have a little bit of tackle, so you'd have your first aid kit and a tackle box, basically. So that being said, that's the formula. I want to see the answer, but I am going to make my own product, my own survival backpack, basically. And it would have the Meyer Diggins name on it. It's going to be the standard of excellence.